Are you ready to get your baby sleeping in their crib and get your bed back? If so, you've come to the right place. In today's video, we are going to talk through how you can make this happen. I'm going to go through 4 tips to stop co-sleeping and teach your child to like their crib and to sleep there. So be sure to hit that subscribe button first before we get started so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming YouTube content. And let's jump right in with these 4 tips. So tip number 1, make sure that you and your partner are on the same page. So if this is applicable to you, you need to talk about it. You need to talk about your plan, where you're at, why you're doing it. You need to be committed to the process. A lot of times I hear families say, oh, well, we're just going to try and see how it goes. Usually when we just try something, we don't actually give it the time to work. And so when we start, we aren't prepared, we don't see it through, we don't see any results, and instead we just leave thinking, oh my gosh, I could never do this. So come up with a plan, make sure you are on the same page with your partner, and be committed to the process. It is not going to be an overnight change. It is going to take several nights of consistency before your child is doing better in their own sleep space. The second tip I want you to focus on is making your child's room and your child's crib a familiar space. So a couple things you can do with this. First off, since they're used to sleeping with you and smelling you all night long, you as the parent, I would say you should either sleep with or take their crib sheet and tuck it in your shirt during the day or the last couple hours before bed so that the crib sheet that you're gonna go put on your child's crib smells very strongly of you. This can be really, really comforting, so definitely give this piece a try. This is an easy one to do. The other thing I want you to do is make sure that you are spending playtime in your child's room, maybe even spending playtime in their crib, looking at books, playing peekaboo, make their crib and their room that they may not be very familiar with, make it seem like a safe, good, loving place that they have other experiences with. So do that. You can do that, the day leading up to this change, or if you want to spend a week or so just familiarizing them with their room and their crib during awake time. Absolutely okay to do. I have a lot of parents ask, well, shouldn't that just be their sleep space and we don't do playtime in there? And while I don't think doing playtime in their crib is a long-term solution, in the short term to build that familiarity, it is really important to do. So don't miss out on that. The other thing that I would say to help familiarize them with their space, since they are used to sleeping next to you and you are so warm and cozy, you may consider putting a heating pad in their crib without them in there, okay, to warm up the space before you put them in. So if you did this, you're taking the heating pad out before you put your baby in, and you're also checking to make sure that it hasn't made it too hot to the touch. So just a gentle warming before you place them in can be helpful. Now, on the flip side, while we want to familiarize your child with their sleep space, we do not want to make their crib like a bed. We do not want to add pillows. We do not want to add blankets. We do not want to add a DockATot. Those things are not safe, should not be in the crib. So I know you will be tempted to do that because that will feel more like the bed. And you're right, that would feel more like the bed, but it is not safe. That risk is not worth it. Your child will learn to adapt without pillows and blankets and DockATot. So don't put anything in that crib. That crib should be bare. Tip number 3, okay, so when we are starting our child off, getting them used to their crib, I know it's also tempting to start at nap time, but don't do that. Trust me, okay? Their drive to sleep is so much lower at nap time than it is at bedtime and overnight. So even though it's tempting to start getting them used to their crib at nap time, if they're not used to napping in their crib, don't start with naps, okay? Do it at bedtime at night. Their body is producing melatonin at that point. They have a surge of melatonin at bedtime. That's our sleepy hormone, and that is going to help them accept changes more easily because their body is just more primed for sleep. So always start with these changes at bedtime, not nap time. Got it? Bedtime, not nap time. Okay, good. Tip number 4. Now, if the idea of starting at bedtime and having your child spend all night 10 to 12 hours in their crib is so daunting to you, don't look at it that way. You don't have to start with it being all night at once, okay? So set a time each night that you're gonna make your child stay in their crib until X time, and then push it later every night or every other night until they're spending all night in the crib. So it doesn't have to be all or nothing right away. You can gradually step into it if that feels a little more comfortable for you. Now, on the flip side, let's also not drag this out so that it's taking weeks and weeks until your child spends a full night in the crib. That is just going to cause frustration and more angst for your baby. So we don't want to drag it out that long. I would say over the course of 2 to 5 nights, your child should be spending all night in their crib. So don't drag it out past 5 nights. You're not going to actually be doing them any favors with that inconsistency. If you feel like you have tried these tips and you are still struggling to keep your child in their crib, it could be that you are missing the most basic piece of the puzzle, and that is independent sleep skills. So if your child does not know how to fall asleep on their own, then it's important to know it's natural for night wakings to happen, okay? Night wakings are natural, and as long as your child doesn't know how to fall back asleep on their own, those night wakings are going to persist, because when they wake up, all they're thinking is, when I fell asleep, I was in mom's arms, or I was laying next to dad, or I was this, or I was that. I wasn't in here all alone. And so they don't know what to do. They end up calling out for you. So if that is a piece that you are missing, then this video would be perfect for you. So if you are thinking about sleep training and giving your child those tools to fall asleep on their own, this video kind of walks you through some questions, a readiness checklist that you should go through before deciding if you're ready for that next step. And with some families, this next step of sleep training and teaching independent sleep is the best and most basic way to get your child out of their crib.